So let's go ahead and get after. We're going to do the NFL draft version of this with some of the more popular props that are already available and that you can wager on these right now at BetMGM. And let's go ahead and start off with Travis Hunter to go second overall at plus 190. Horvat, does this happen? Did you bet on it? And is this nearly the L or the G word?
All right, so no, I don't think it's a lock. I don't really think anything other than Cam Ward going number one overall to the Titans, or maybe if a team wants to move up to number one overall. I think Cam Ward is the number one overall pick. After that, I think it's kind of a crapshoot, which is why when these numbers change, when these prices go up or down, I try to take advantage. And when Travis Hunter was sitting there earlier this week at plus 650 to go number two overall, I had to take a shot there just because. Now, what makes most sense? Cleveland going with best available, right? They could also go with Shedeur Sanders. They still do need a quarterback. Or they could go with the best player in the draft, which, in my opinion, that's Abdul Carter. But you just paid Myles Garrett all that money. And sure, you could make a strength, an even bigger strength with another edge rusher and be the best pass rush in the league. But Cleveland got a pretty solid pass rush last season and got natural pressure. I could see them going Travis Hunter number two overall. But again, that was plus 650. Now it's plus 160. So now I would probably stay away because you were just 3 days ago getting a 6-1 price. What I love about Travis Hunter, he's my favorite player in this draft other than Abdul Carter. Because we don't really know what he is, man. He's the ultimate unicorn. Really, like you could play him at wide receiver. And what's so impressive about him at the wide receiver position is he's like my height and my size, dude. He's like 6 foot, 6'1", like a $180, 185 pounds. And at Colorado, he played on the outside. So is he an X receiver? I think he could do damage in the slot. You look at these routes, he could win, like even against these big physical corners that are going to play man coverage. Now, that does scare me a little bit that he did play in a weak conference, right? Like he didn't play in the SEC, and he's a smaller guy. But he's just a hell of an athlete. He's a football player. I mean, you could play him at wide receiver. That's the other thing, man. At Colorado, they didn't even really have a route tree. He barely knew the playbook because he had to be in defensive team meetings, offensive team meetings. There was a game where he played like 95 snaps this season. So what they were doing was just giving him his routes, and he would go into the huddle. Imagine if he's a full-time wide receiver, right? I think he's only going to continue to get better, only going to continue to get stronger, if you even need him to get stronger. Could run pretty much every single route. And, maybe he's not a full-time defensive back. Still on third downs, you want to play some man coverage, some zone coverage, you could throw Travis Hunter out there as a slot corner, a nickel corner. He could maybe even be your shutdown corner. We don't know what he is, right? And that's the best part about his game. Just get him to camp. So he could go number two overall, but at this price, I would fade it. I would look for a better price. I would want this back to 5-1, 6-1 odds. But it would make a lot of sense for the Browns, right? Because forever, they've been looking for that number one wide receiver, right? And they could also use, like I've said a couple times, some good publicity. And Travis Hunter, on and off the field, good dude, good kid, all we hear. So I think they should do it, but they're idiots, so they probably won't. So I'll fade this one right now at this price. But at plus 650, I loved it.
All right, I got to shake off the rust. I just remembered I came up with a stupid segment and the rules, and I didn't even lay those out. Confidence of cash is a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being the highest confidence that you have. So on that 1 to 5 scale, sounds like you're closer in that like maybe 1 to 3 range with Travis Hunter going second overall at plus 190. Am I wrong?
You know what? Actually, so it's crazy because I'll go 4, right? Or I'll go like 3. Yeah, I'll go like 3, I will say. I just don't want to bet it at plus 190 right now, but I could totally see it. So, yeah, I'll go like 3, like right in the middle. I think it's either Travis Hunter or it's Abdul Carter, and I would go Hunter.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to Shedeur Sanders. You brought him up. The pride of Colorado, Deion's kid. Got a lot of people believe at one point he was going to be in the number one overall conversation, but Cam Ward is going to be that guy, it looks like. To go third overall for Shedeur Sanders, it's at plus 500. So Ryan Horvat on that 1 to 5 scale, 5 being the highest confidence. What is your confidence of cash?
You know what? I look at all the available prices, right? And I would say I'm like a 3 to 5 on this one, to be honest with you. I haven't bet Shedeur to go 3 overall just because of what the Giants did this offseason, bringing in Russell Wilson, which people will laugh, but Russell Wilson could still play, and he could hit that moon ball, that deep ball. And with Malik Neighbors and those skill position players that they do have, I think the Giants might be a little bit better offensively than people project. You have Jameis Winston already there. You have Tommy DeVito, if he's even on the roster. Do you Go for a third quarterback, fourth quarterback. Giants fans want to go quarterback, and it's crazy because like a couple months ago, we all thought that Shedeur Sanders was going to be the first quarterback taken in this draft, and then everything changed because now everybody wants the next Josh Allen, right? The dual threat quarterback, and that's the knock on Shedeur. Also, he played behind a terrible offensive line at Colorado, so there's not really a whole lot of tape that you could evaluate. I think he's just your classic natural pocket passer, right? He's not running a 4.3, 4.4 40. It's like sub 5, so he's a little bit slower compared to like Lamar Jackson and some of these other athletic quarterbacks. But I could see it, man, because the Giants need a quarterback. And, like, that's the thing. If Travis Hunter goes 2, are they going to go Abdul Carter? The pass rush is already solid. They spent more money this offseason. Does that mean they're trading Kayvon Thibodeau? So if I had to place a bet right now on the number 3 overall market, it probably actually would be Shedeur. So on a scale of 1 to 5, I'm a 3, and I would actually follow this one. I'm pretty confident that Shedeur could go 3 overall, actually, to the Giants.
Yeah, if you look at some of the advanced data right now on Pro Football Focus, I mean, he had a really impressive year last year. He was number 2 among all college quarterbacks in adjusted completion percentage, tied for 11th the big time throw rate. However, the downside is the turnover-worthy plays. He was number 2 in turnover-worthy play percentage. It could be like almost a Baker Mayfield type, right? Like Baker Mayfield is the guy that's got like sneaky speed. He's a guy that can be an opportunistic runner. I think Sanders could be at the next level, but Baker is incredibly accurate in the pocket, and behind a good offensive line, he could get it done. I think Sanders, kind of a similar style and what he brings to the table as well. So, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. If he goes to number 3 overall, whoever's going to get him is going to get a guy that's, I think, going to be a fairly consistent once he, limits the amount of turnover-worthy throws at the next level, reduces those INTs, gets a little bit more judicious and smarter, deliver the football. He's going to be a rock-solid pro there at the next level. All right, let's move on. Bear down, Chicago Bears. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, there it is. The Bears to draft Ashton Jeanty. Oh, that's sexy. Plus 210, that 1 to 5 scale, 5 being the highest. What is your confidence to cash and bear down?
You know what, man? A couple months ago, I guess, because I've been talking about this draft forever, I would have said like a 4 out of 5. I just don't think Ashton Jeanty is going to be there at pick 10, unfortunately. I think the Raiders, especially if Shedeur's off the board, right? I don't think the Raiders will go Jackson Dart. I do think the Steelers will go Jackson Dart. I do think we get 3 quarterbacks taken in the first round, but unfortunately, unless Chicago moves up, and they do have plenty of draft capital, I just don't know that they're going to want to do so when they have other needs, right? They still do need another tackle, and there's going to be good value in the later rounds at the running back position with all these guys like Cam Scatteraboo. And it sounds like Eric Bieniemy, who's the new running back coach in Chicago, really likes Travion Henderson. And if he's there round 2, round 3, you get your tackle, I wouldn't hate that whatsoever. Or Caleb from Iowa, or like I said, Scatteraboo, hell, even like Ollie Gordon, any of these guys, man. So I would probably fade that, to be honest with you. I'm like a 1 out of 5 that Chicago ends up with him. I hope it happens. I think it would be a great fit for the Ben Johnson offense, but I just don't think he'll be there at 10.
God, the guy is so freaking good. He's a special running back. Let me give you the advanced data, back it up. Number 1 in Yak. The yards after contact. Number 1 in yak per attempt at 5.25, which is off the charts. Number 1 in total missed tackles forced. Number 2, loser, in missed tackle forced per attempt. He was a guy who also caught 44 passes a year ago. He is the complete package, folks. Jeanty should not slip to 10. If he does slip to 10, it's a gift from the football gods. And I know Brandon working the border is like, you can't spend draft capital that high on a running back. They're not exactly ordinary guys that are the equivalent of what Ashton Jeanty. He is extraordinary. He's off the charts. He's otherworldly. He is godlike. And he is going to be downright special at the NFL level. So we'll see what happens and where he goes. But I would love for the Bears to get him at number 10 overall. But yeah, I think you got to fade that one. What about the Bills that draft a wide receiver? 15-1 odds on that 1 to 5 scale, 5 being the highest. What is your confidence in cash?
So I'll go 1 out of 5 on that one. I bet the Bills, even though it's the favorite at plus 165, to go defensive line or edge rusher, right? I mean, like, They see the same teams in the playoffs every single year, the same team in the playoffs every year. It's the Chiefs. It's Pat Mahomes. How did the Eagles beat Pat Mahomes? How did Tampa Bay a couple years ago in that Super Bowl beat Pat Mahomes? They beat the living hell out of them. They got natural pressure, and that's been the bugaboo for Buffalo, right? They tried to go all in and spend money on Von Miller, and I know Joey Bosa's there, but I think, especially what his contract's telling us, the 1-year prove-it deal, I think he's more of a situational pass rusher at this stage of his career. Whether it's interior defensive line, edge rusher, I think they go defensive line. So I'm going to go 1 out of 5. I don't think they go receiver in the first round at pick 30. I could see them doing that in a later round, right? And getting a guy. I don't think they do that in the first round, though. So I think it's going to be a guy like Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. That would actually be my exact pick for Buffalo. So 1 out of 5 for receiver for me.
Yeah, I think the Bills definitely need to shore up that area a little bit more. I mean, they got Keon Coleman, obviously, and, they got some other key guys there. They get the job done, but they need some additional depth overall. And, what kind of production do they get out of the tight end position? I thought Dalton Kincaid was a failure last year. There was a lot of hype around him at the fantasy level, and he only rarely delivered the goods on a week-in, week-out basis. And Dawson Knox was still eating into some of his volume. But, yeah, they still need, a little bit of an upgrade at the wide receiver position in my estimation. So 15-1, I think it's worth a little bit of a sprinkle myself. All right, last one. Bring it home here. Patriots to draft an O-lineman at that's plus money, plus 105. Yep. That 1 to 5 scale. What is your confidence to cash?
I love this bet, man. Now, what scares me, though, is if Travis Hunter's there at 4, he's not going past 4. So if he's there at 4, New England's going to be like, all right, we got our number 1 wide receiver, because Stephon Diggs and all these other pieces are more like 2s or 3s. So that would scare me. But, yeah, I think they go offensive line. They have to. I mean, Drake May, that was the reason we didn't think we were going to see him his rookie season, because on paper, that was the worst offensive line in all of football. So I think they got to fix that up. I think they go tackle here. I'm a 4 out of 5 that's what they do, unless Hunter's there.
Yeah, I think it's automatic. They're going to go offensive linemen, in my opinion. You got to shore up that line and protect Drake May. So the fact that it's still plus money, I would take advantage of that now. All right.